Welcome back, you guys. Interesting build tonight. I really just had this itch to build something aggressive, new. I wanted to do it on something other than a Glock. An opportunity finally came to the top, and I was like, let's go with it. So I want to take you guys through that just a little bit. So local customer who happens to stop by every couple of months, just really has a lot of projects going on. This individual does some coloring themselves on the frame, on the barrel. Really, they specialize in coatings and not cut work. So I happen to be the guy that does a lot of the cut work for them. I thought, hey, I really just don't want to buy a slide to do something new on it. For me, it just kind of comes down to, I can do that every day, all day, but why not do it on a customer's piece, and then they end up having something that they didn't pay quite as much for, and they got something unique. So I kind of just discussed it with them. They came by, dropped it off. I said, what do you think about me just kind of doing my own thing? Is that cool with you? And they're like, yeah, I've totally seen all your work. Obviously I've had a lot of work done through you and by you, and do your thing. You know what I mean? Make some good choices and do whatever you think just kind of fits. So with that being said, I want to take you guys through, I want to discuss the work with you a little bit more. One of the main reasons why I wanted to do it on a 2.0 was because we do offer services on the 2.0 now. Of course, we offer the Hive, we offer the Raptor cut with side windows and different variances like that. But the idea is that it just has been a little while since we've created anything new on the 2.0. We've been targeting more of what would be the CZ line. Obviously the Glock's there, the Taurus is there. So, but the actual Smith & Wesson line of the 2.0, not so much the Shield, but the M&P, it really has been just kind of lacking. It's been in lack of as far as a new pattern goes, which is a whole nother story. We've got another machine coming. We've got a machine that we're going to be tearing apart here. I don't know how much of this you guys will see. And when we do tear apart the machine that's here and modify it, it will be offering all kinds of services that we've never done before. So just stuff that we functionally could not do and work that was not able to be performed on the machine without the machine being modified. So once again, that's a whole nother thing. I don't know whether we'll get into building some sort of a video or explanation or I don't know what we'll do. We haven't got that far yet. But that's going to add a lot of new things that we can do, and hopefully a lot of those will be more so on the M&P line than anything else. With that being said, guys, I want to just take you through the work, and I do want to explain to you that this customer does coatings themselves. So at the end of this video, we're going to start seeing a frame that's been coated, a barrel that's been coated. We're going to see some other pieces put together as a full piece to this puzzle, but some of those services we didn't do. Okay, so we'll discuss that as we get a little closer to the end, the work that was performed by them, the work that was performed by us, what we do offer, and how it's offered. Let's talk about the work on this 2.0. So first and foremost, aggressive. Okay, that's what I'm after. I'm after weight reduction. I'm after something that's aggressive. I'm after debadging the slide. I don't want to see the markings on it. Okay, I want to see barrel exposure. I want to have an optic. So these are all things that are kind of on my checklist of, if you're going to build something wild, these are the things I want to see. So first and foremost, we're going to end up doing a 507K. We're going to leave the rear dovetail alone. I think it's an absolute awesome choice with not needing to add a front of optic dovetail, not needing necessarily to adjust or upgrade the sights. We can work with the factory sights. I've got to look back through the parts list of what's here. We may be replacing the sights, but it's not going to be required when adding a 507K to the 2.0. So it is technically the optic of choice to save the most amount of money without replacing sights, and aesthetically it just kind of works well with fitting between the barrel and the factory sight. Let's talk about the sides. So one of the things that we definitely want to do is we want to shave the sides. We do want to remove the M&P 9. We do want to remove that Smith & Wesson Springfield MA USA. So we want to make sure that that's all going to get stripped and removed. We are looking once again for that weight reduction and debadging. So we want to take all that off. This firing warning that we get here when firing, this will obviously get stripped. So we'll do a shave here. Okay, so that's one of the most important things. The other thing that we want to do is we want to run the new Cobra nose. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the only Cobra nose that we offer on the FN model slides. Okay, so traditionally on the Glock, it's a C. On the M&P, it's a C, which is a Cobra nose. The new style one is a series of step downs, and then it's a punch through. It's just a little bit more aggressive at the end, and I want to really push for the aggressive look on this particular build. That is what I'm going for. So we're going to be doing the new Cobra nose. We've never done one on an M&P. Honestly, I just don't know what it's going to come out looking like. It should be very similar to the FNs. We have done it on some of the Glocks, although it's not listed on the webpage. We've also done it on some SIGs, some P365s and the P320s. So it's not uncommon for us to do this. It's just uncommon on the Smith & Wesson line of pistols. So what else are we doing? Well, we want to do the reverse Raptor cuts. You guys have probably seen this on our hemorrhage slides. So what we're going to do is, instead of the Raptor cuts going essentially this way, they're going to be reversed. They're actually going to go start from the nose and work their way to the rear. So they're going to go this way. Okay, and the idea is it's more of like a gill. So the way that you would see it is it's basically opening up the side of the slide this way. So you'd be able to see barrel exposure this way, and then of course you'll see some through the side. We do get some exposure on the top. Overall, it's a really aggressive look. We will take and meticulously go back through that cut work to make sure that it's not a barb. We want to make sure that it's not going to drag on holsters and things like that. So ideally, it's do the cut work, come back, get kind of an approach on what do we need to do to deburr it, to make sure that it's not an actual sticker, you know, that's going to grab on anything, and then it will go through the cleaning and coating process. So even though it may look super aggressive, it probably, used in the incorrect fashion, it could probably hurt you, but under typical and normal circumstances, it probably won't hurt you, or it should not hurt you. Let's put it like that. So we are going to be safe about that. Of course, we are working with firearms, so ultimately you should be safe anyhow, and you should be paying attention to what you're doing. So guys, that's kind of going to be the goal. Shave the side, new Cobra nose. We have a reverse Raptor on the top. We've got an optic. We're going to be going with burnt bronze. One of the things to take into consideration is I do not know how all these pieces are going to fit into this puzzle. In other words, shaving the sides would typically done with the Cobra nose at the same time, because it's already in the vise this way. So we would shave, and then we would do the Cobra nose, then we would roll to the top, and we would do the reverse Raptor cut. But in this particular case, I don't know 100% how close these Raptor cuts are going to come to the side. We do have a dovetail here. We don't see that on the Glocks. So there's a lot of little pieces I have to kind of work around. More than likely, it'll be a shaved side. It'll be then a reverse Raptor. Then it'll go back for a nose, so I can keep the distance between the first Raptor cut and the nose to where I want it to be, and I can really kind of pay attention to where is this offset and how is it working. So it's going to be a little bit of bouncing back and forth between CNC machines. We'll be utilizing 2 different CNC machines for the work, so you can expect to see different lighting whenever we're recording, but that kind of just gives you an idea. So guys, at this point, I think we're basically just gonna jump into it, and we're gonna start with shaving the sides. More than likely, we'll navigate into an optic, the reverse Raptor, and then we're gonna go back and finish up with the new style Cobra nose at the very end. One of the things I always want to warn you guys is we've never done this build before, so that means that things are subject to change along the way if we just don't like something, or something doesn't flow, or maybe we decided we wanted something else. So don't be surprised if you're watching some of this content and you're like, "That you totally did not discuss that, and there's something going on here." That's kind of expected. Whenever we're building something new, we are just kind of stepping stones. We're doing one piece, we're going to the next, we're going to the next until we mature it out into a final pattern. So we're just going to see how those pieces lay with each other, and we'll see what we come up with. Alright guys, let's take a look and see exactly how this came out. We ended up receiving the lower half of this weapon from the customer that had it colored, so we're going to have the opportunity to put it together and show it as a complete piece and not just one piece of the puzzle. I'm super happy with the way this came out. Let's kind of just discuss that work real quick here before we put it back together. Optic cut, we upgraded the iron sights. Now keep in mind, when we do an optic cut on the 2.0s and we do it for the 507K or other optics that fit that same footprint, we do get the co-witness with the factory sights. In this particular case, we have a set of upgraded sights, but we are still getting the co-witness. We don't have to lose the factory dovetail. We don't have to cut a new dovetail in front of it or in the back of it for a Glock style sight. We don't have to go with suppressor sights. This is the best choice, even if you're just straight up going with an optic cut. The 507K footprint is the best choice for the weapon, with just saving the most money because you're not changing any of those other parts out. Weight reduction, definitely hit pretty high on our checkbox here. Shave the sides to remove the factory writing. We did that on both sides, so we end up getting that weight reduction. It's much more aggressive because we don't have any of that butchered text. It correctly flows and everything just seems to look much, much better when done correctly. And that's kind of the idea here. You guys have been following long enough to know that we're going to do things correct. We've added the new Cobra nose onto the side. We did not come back far enough to have any issues with our reverse Raptor. And of course, we have the really aggressive edge cuts that are through here, the Raptor cuts in the reverse format. Really, really like it. This is your Air Cure Burnt Bronze series coating is what you're seeing here. Guys, we've got a lot of different pictures that I've taken. Some of that is going to be just the slide. Some of it's going to be with the black barrel. Some of it's going to be with the barrel that they provided, which they sent another barrel that's been coated. I'm just going to kind of take you guys through that real quick before we put it back on the frame. So this would be the factory barrel, which is black. If you guys just kind of want to see what that looks like, once again, we do have some pictures. If we haven't already included them, we will towards the end. So really, really nice. This is your two-tone look that you would get, of course, if you had a black frame or handle. You would still be seeing a lot of two-tone with the irons, with the optic, with the barrel. So I really do happen to like the black and burnt bronze offsets between the two-tone. Now this is a midnight bronze barrel that the customer had provided. I believe they had several different models of the same gun, or several different pistols in the same format. So they went ahead and set a different barrel. So that would be your midnight bronze. There's not a ton of offset there, but you guys are going to get to see it here in a second once we put it onto the frame. I'm going to go ahead and add the spring to it. And I'm working behind the camera, so let's just see what we get. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to set this down, and I'm going to take you guys through the frame. Now, one of the things I want to talk to you guys about the frame is that we did not do the coloring on this as we stated at the beginning of the video. This was actually done by the local customer who did the coloring and then provided it, and of course we just matched the coloring on the top half to the bottom half. We do offer frame coloring. What we don't offer is disassembly. Okay, so since we're just such a small company, there's only just a handful of us here working, we just kind of step off the line of disassembly unless it's a Glock. I'm real familiar with Glocks. Some of these other ones I've definitely taken apart, some of your FNs and your CZs and of course your M&Ps. The idea is that I just don't offer it as a service because of the time involved with it. So I'm usually standing in front of a CNC machine, or I'm running a laser or something along that line. So the service is offered. If you're like, hey, I totally like this, you could definitely provide these parts stripped, and then I would coat them for you. But what I don't do is I don't offer the disassembly for you. So we would coat them, we would bag them, we'd send them back, and you could go ahead and reassemble them. So let's just talk about it. So we have the burnt bronze, burnt bronze, burnt bronze, burnt bronze. We've got midnight bronze, basically, which is the frame and then the barrel itself. We also happen to have the base plate of a mag, which is your burnt bronze. So that's kind of a nice two-tone look. We're going to pop this out. We're going to put this on. Let's just kind of see what it looks like here. Once again, I am definitely behind the camera, so we're going to do our best to see if we can get this seamlessly put together. There we go. I really like that. Okay, so we're going to slide this to the side. We're going to go ahead and add our mag. Really, really nice. I want to give you guys a couple different angles here. I do want you guys to be able to see this. So once again, if you haven't been following us, Instagram, Facebook, of course, YouTube, most of our newer content is definitely going to be posted on our webpage, which is going to kind of, as soon as you go to our webpage, you kind of see a picture gallery there. A lot of the newer things are going to be posted there. If it's something that we feel as other customers would really like, maybe they don't have the time to go through all of our Instagram, or they're just not following us on Instagram, or maybe we just didn't create a video on YouTube. Our big projects you're going to be able to see right on our webpage, and one of the main reasons we did that was because if we were ever had an account issue, or for some reason were removed from a certain platform like Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, we don't actually lose any of the interest that we see from our customers. So in other words, if you go to our webpage, you're basically going to find most of the stuff there because we're able to manage that and not be regulated on what is posted and how it's posted and services that are listed, things like that. Basically, we're just taking the keys of the kingdom and removing them from those platforms because we don't want to find ourselves building a huge customer base on one of those and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we don't like you, your account's banned, or hey, we don't agree with you because of our copyright terms or our copyright infringement, or whatever the case is. They'll just throw crazy stuff at you, and then all of a sudden your account's locked and removed. So we definitely want to keep all the content kind of in our side of the table, so that way nobody can kind of penalize us for that. So that's going to be the place to do that. It's going to be to go to our webpage. You're going to see all the big stuff there. Of course, you can go to the service tab. On our service tab is where you're going to find all the listed services. You are going to find this on here in several different configurations. Now, something to take into consideration when you're looking at this exact service, and that is we really don't offer the reverse Raptor without shaving the sides. Okay, so if you look at that as just a single service, it appears as though it's kind of expensive, but you got to remember that we have to shave the sides here, and then we have to move it to another machine and rotate the slide, and then cut the top, and then we go into coloring. Okay, so aside from Cobra nose or any logos, or we've done logos here, we've done rear upgrade serrations, we've done optics, taking all those pieces out of the puzzle to just do the reverse Raptor cut is a side shave to remove the text, and it is the actual reverse Raptor cuts itself. So there's a kind of a lot bundled into that one little piece, and of course it is the biggest piece of the puzzle because that is the main feature of the build. So just kind of take that into consideration when you're taking a look at costs and things. Some of the other services that maybe you just don't see or can't find, which is like frame coloring, trigger coloring, all the small accessories, mag wells, things like that. Those are going to be under additional services. So when you go to our service tab, all the way at the bottom there's a thing called additional services. You're going to find barrel coatings, you're going to find cleanings, you're going to find all kinds of stuff in there. And there's two different versions. There's a slide coating service, which is primarily for the individuals just looking to coat a slide, you know, that's all they're having it sent in for. And then there's frame coating services. So a lot of the lower half parts, all those little accessory pieces are going to be listed under your frame coating service, because we've kind of divided it into two different things to allow our customers to find them a little bit easier. But guys, if you happen to have any questions, you know, feel free to send us an email. If you call or text, it's going to be super hard to get me. I'm always standing in front of a machine. But I would highly recommend that you reach out by Instagram or Facebook or email. We do process orders by email, so that's where we're going to keep all those details together when we go through the process of building an order and building a quote and setting something in, having the work done. It's all going to be in one place so that way we can find all those work order changes and we don't skip anything like color changes or logos and engravings that you want to add. Something came up later after the pistol's already been sent. So we're gonna process all those by email. It is the most fluid way of keeping track of all of the work. Guys, once again, if you have any questions, just let us know, and we'll just keep putting them out. We've got a couple other really big videos coming up. I know I've been kind of off the line from doing videos, but I'm gonna have to get back onto it because there's a lot of these that I really just can't explain unless we actually do a video. So expect to see some more real soon.